Charlotte, North Carolina, February. The dry winter air hung low over South End, where bus routes ran thinner after 9 p.m., and every front door carried two locks, if not three. Malik James left the gas station just past midnight. His shift had dragged on for 8 long hours, rewarded only by a few spare coins and a takeout box from a kind regular. His hands stung from window cleaner, and his hoodie, too thin for the season, barely fought off the night chill. As he walked home, he saw a young woman standing uncertainly by the vending machine outside the station. She fumbled with a crumpled $5 bill, trying to feed it into the slot. The machine spat it back each time. She sighed, shoulders hunched, clearly unfamiliar with the rhythms of this neighborhood. Malik recognized the look, the quiet panic of someone out of place. He didn't say anything, just walked over, pulled a few coins from his pocket, $2.50 tipped to him an hour ago, and slid them into the machine. He pressed the button. "The machine only takes coins," he murmured, eyes on the ground. "You should swap bills inside next time." The can dropped. She barely had time to say, "Thank," before he turned and disappeared into the dark. 2 days later, Malik stood inside First Capital Bank, gripping a folder and a scholarship check worth $10,000. A lifeline toward college, away from the poverty and hospital bills that hung over every dinner. His mother was sick. He needed an account, a future. The teller eyed the check with suspicion. "Where'd you get this?" he asked. "It's a scholarship," Malik replied, offering the official letter. "Here's the confirmation." The teller gave no response, just turned and walked away. A few minutes later, a white woman in a fitted black blazer emerged. Melinda Carr, branch manager. Her eyes scanned Malik from head to toe. No greeting, no smile. "We can't verify this source," she said curtly. "Take a seat. We'll need extra checks." Malik sat 15 minutes, then 30, then an hour. No explanation. A security guard took position nearby, arms folded. Around him, people began to glance over, not curious but cautious, as if Malik was not a student, but a threat. Melinda returned and whispered, loud enough for others to hear, to a nearby clerk. "A kid like that, walking in with 10 grand? Scam written all over it?" Malik stood up slowly, keeping calm. "I'll come back with my legal guardian," he said evenly. "You do that," she said. "Next time, don't come alone." He stepped out into the cold with his shoulders stiff. The wind cut deep, but it was the silence behind him that chilled him most. In his pocket, his student ID card, worn edges, ink smudged. He looked at it briefly before slipping it back into his jacket. In that moment, he understood something he had always suspected. His ID was never white enough to count. That afternoon, Malik showed up at the final interview for the extended scholarship of St. Albany University. His only real shot at breaking out of the cycle of hospital bills, second-hand clothes, and silent dinners lit by overdue electricity. The building was glass and steel polished to a shine. The air inside smelled of lemon-scented cleaner and expensive carpet. It felt like a different world, and Malik was fully aware he didn't belong in it, not according to the people who had built it. He checked the list of interviewers. At the top was a familiar name, William Blake, regional banking executive, and the father of Connor Blake. The boy sitting a few chairs away, in a perfectly tailored blazer, scrolling his phone like nothing in the world could touch him. Connor glanced over, eyes full of smug amusement. "You showed up?" he said. Bold move. Malik didn't respond. He didn't need to. When it was his turn, the questions came like hidden blades wrapped in polite tones. Do you think you'll be able to adjust to the rigor of higher academic environments? With your family background, do you think you're emotionally prepared to handle pressure? Leadership. Have you actually led anything real? Has anyone ever followed you? Malik answered honestly. He told them about working part time while studying, about tutoring the younger kids in his neighborhood, about organizing a free book club at the community library using donated novels. They nodded, scribbled things down. But their eyes had already turned to other things, to shinier resumes and lighter skin tones. Later that day, results were posted. Connor Blake had been awarded the scholarship. Malik had been regretfully disqualified, lacked leadership potential, not adequately integrated into campus culture. The words read like a locked door, and no matter how hard he knocked, the key was never meant for him. His phone buzzed. Urgent. Your mother's condition has worsened. Immediate hospitalization required. Prepayment needed. $1,200. Malik rushed to the hospital with the scholarship check still folded in his coat. He approached the reception desk, placing the check and acceptance letter on the counter. "This is real," he said. "Please, I need to admit my mother." The clerk barely glanced at the papers. "I'm sorry, we can't process personal checks from unverified accounts, and we don't accept handwritten forms." "But I've been approved. This is from the university." "You'll have to speak with financial assistance in the charity wing." She pointed down the hallway. Her voice was flat, rehearsed. Her eyes didn't meet his. Malik stepped outside. It wasn't raining, but the sky had that gray, washed-out look that made everything feel like it should be. He sat on a concrete bench just outside the emergency room, clutching the useless check like a receipt for a promise broken before it could be kept. From behind the glass, someone was watching him. A new bank clerk, frozen in place behind a screen. Sophia. She recognized him. The boy with the coins, the vending machine, the quiet voice, the hands that didn't hesitate. He didn't know she worked there, didn't know she saw him now. But as he walked away, soaked in rejection and silence, Sophia opened her work terminal, scrolled to a flagged internal report. There it was. The security footage from the day Malik had come to open an account. She watched it again. The way he was spoken to, the way they watched him, not like a student, but like a suspect. And she heard the voice of the branch manager crystal clear. A kid like that, walking in with 10 grand? Scam written all over it? Her hand trembled as she clicked download. She didn't leave her name, didn't sign her initials. She uploaded the file anonymously to a small but growing community group called Justice in Charlotte. She added only a single line: "Look closely and stop pretending not to see." The next morning, the city's social media feeds exploded. An 87-second video clip, posted from an anonymous account, began spreading like wildfire. It showed surveillance footage from inside First Capital Bank. A teenage boy in a gray hoodie stood at the counter holding a folder and a check. The boy was Malik James. In the video, the voice of the branch manager, Melinda Carr, came through clearly. A kid like that, walking in with 10 grand, scam written all over it. No one could spin those words. No context could clean them. They were soaked in the exact rot everyone had always felt, but rarely caught on tape. The city responded. Some were outraged, others uncomfortable, and many, far too many, remained silent, hoping the storm would pass without touching their glass doors. But the image of Malik, standing small between two security guards, holding a scholarship check like it was contraband, was now burned into public memory. News outlets picked it up. Talk shows dissected it. Comment sections overflowed with fire and bile. A few demanded reform. A few blamed Malik. Most just watched, mouths open, hearts closed. Reporters descended on South End, looking for a quote, a statement, a tear. Malik gave them none. He went to work. He paid the bills he could. He visited his mother, still sedated, machines pulsing steadily around her. And every time he stepped outside, he saw the look, that flicker of recognition in strangers' eyes, like he'd become a symbol for something bigger than he ever wanted. At the bank, chaos brewed. An internal investigation was launched. Staff were questioned. Manager Carr was suspended. The higher-ups tried damage control, issuing vague apologies to anyone who may have been affected. But no one said Malik's name. Not once. Meanwhile, Connor Blake, the scholarship recipient, remained silent. But at school, the whispers got louder. That's the kid they gave the scholarship to. You think he earned it? Bet his daddy made a call. Malik heard it all, said nothing. He had no appetite for revenge, only truth. That evening, Sophia sat in her dimly lit apartment, eyes red from screen glare. The clip had been viewed over 100,000 times. She watched the numbers climb. Still, no one knew it was her. She didn't want credit. She didn't want attention. She only wanted the truth to breathe. He didn't have to help me, she whispered. He didn't know me, but he helped anyway. Now, it's my turn. She scrolled through a locked folder on her drive. Inside, a scanned document, an internal list of recommended scholarship recipients, flagged for donor preference. Connor's name was circled in red. She attached the file to an encrypted email. Subject, unearned. Recipient, a local journalist she trusted but had never met in person. No signature, no explanation. She hit send. Then she sat back, in the dark, knowing Malik still didn't know who she was. And that was exactly how it should be for now. 3 days after the video went viral, Malik was called into the principal's office. There, waiting on the desk, was a letter, printed, official, already bearing the school's seal. At the top, statement of apology to community partners and donors. You just need to sign it, the principal said, voice smooth but sharp. We can close this down before it gets worse. You'll keep your scholarship. You'll graduate with honor. This whole thing will blow over. Malik stared at the letter. We understand you didn't release the footage, the principal continued. But this has become bigger than it needed to be. And we all need to move forward. Malik read the final lines of the statement. I apologize for causing confusion and reputational harm to those involved. I regret the impact of my actions. He looked up. And who apologizes to me? He asked. No one had an answer. That evening, he sat beside his mother's hospital bed. She looked smaller than usual, thinner. But her grip, when it found his hand, was still firm. They want me to say sorry, Mom, he whispered. for being treated unfairly, for being seen. She didn't offer advice, didn't preach. She just held his hand tighter and said with a quiet certainty, "You already know what's right. I can't make the choice for you, but whatever you do, I won't be ashamed of you for standing." 2 days later, the Charlotte City Board of Education held a public hearing. Community leaders, students, parents, journalists, all packed into a room that felt suddenly too small for the city's shame. The moderator called his name, Malik James. He walked to the podium. No notes, no speech, just the truth. "My name is Malik. I'm a student, and I'm the one they denied because of my skin. I'm the one they looked at like a threat for holding a check. I'm the one who stayed quiet too long." He paused. The room was silent. "I'm not here to beg for money. I'm here to take back the dignity that was stripped from me the moment they decided I didn't belong." He took a breath, steadier now. "I was told I don't have leadership, that I don't fit. But I've led kids who had no one. I've fit into classrooms that never welcome me. And now, I won't fit into your silence." The audience was still. Then one clap, then another, then a wave. It wasn't unanimous, but it was enough. In the crowd, Sophia sat with her coat collar turned up, eyes glassy. It was the first time she'd heard his voice outside of a vending machine. The first time she saw him not as a symbol, but as a flame. 3 weeks after the hearing, the headlines shifted. Melinda Carr was fired from First Capital Bank. Internal records confirmed a pattern of racial profiling in customer service. A practice long whispered about, now undeniable. Connor Blake's scholarship was revoked. An independent review committee found clear evidence of favoritism tied to family donations. His father, William Blake, the bank executive, was pressured to resign from 2 major community boards. Public statements were issued. Apologies were made. But Malik didn't return to First Capital. He didn't attend the school's Diversity and Healing Forum. And he didn't accept the last-minute scholarship renewal the district offered in a thinly disguised attempt at redemption. "I don't want a Band-Aid," he said. "I want a system that stops cutting people like me." Instead, Malik enrolled at East Charlotte Community College, a place with peeling paint and low funding, but open doors. There he started the Quiet Room, a small sunlit space on the second floor of the Student Center. It was for kids who needed a break, for students who never felt safe to speak, for people who had grown used to silence. Within a year, it became more than a room. It became a refuge, a beginning. One autumn evening, while Malik was shelving donated books in the Quiet Room, someone knocked on the open door. Sophia. She held a worn leather notebook. Inside was a printout of the anonymous email she had sent months ago. No name, just the truth. "I didn't want you to know," she said, "but I thought you should." Malik took the notebook, flipping through its pages. His eyes settled on a simple line handwritten in blue ink. "He helped me without knowing me. I did the same." He looked up and smiled, not surprised, not shocked. "Thank you," he said softly, "for believing me, even when I didn't know I needed it." They didn't say much more. Some debts are too quiet to be spoken aloud. The scar from that winter never left Malik. Not when he walked past the hospital, not when someone eyed his hoodie too long. But he learned to carry it, not as a weight, but as a reminder. a reminder that truth doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful, that kindness, especially when unseen, can shift the world, that sometimes the smallest spark, a few coins at a vending machine, can ignite a fire in someone else's chest. Years later, when Malik stood on stage at his graduation, now a guest speaker, now a leader, someone in the crowd asked, "What changed your life?" He didn't mention the video, the scandal, the scholarship. He said this: "A stranger once showed me kindness when I least expected it, and maybe that kindness saved me."